that has never been in contact with any particular law enforcement court system. And from what I can see and what I hear out here from a lot of my Black male, and I'm sure it's common knowledge, is that because they are unfamiliar with the court system, they don't know, number one.
Traveler. Okay.
All right, guys, today we've got a sovereign citizen in court who, surprisingly enough, actually asked for an attorney this time, so maybe that's progress. But don't be fooled because he's still deep in that sovereign citizen mindset, since this dude was caught driving without a license, had a plate that literally just said traveler on it, and of course resisted arrest. Because what is a sovereign citizen case without some completely unnecessary struggle? So let's go ahead and dive in because this one is definitely entertaining, and let me know what you guys think about his attorney too, because this whole situation is just really weird to me. They're having a very touchy kind of moment in court which feels strange, at least in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think, and let's go ahead and dive right in.
She and I have already discussed it on this case, and we just both want you to hear the PC, if we can, Judge.
Okay.
And then on the bond reinstatement as well, Judge. Right.
So officers initiated a traffic stop in Harris County, Texas for a vehicle having a fictitious plate bearing the word traveler on it. During the stop, the defendant refused to provide...
Traveler. Okay.
During the stop, the defendant refused to provide ID or insurance information, stating, "I do not consent to this." Officer attempted to remove the defendant from the vehicle, and defendant actively resisted by pulling his arm away from deputies until he was detained.
Okay. Tell me what.
So we looked at, I'm sorry, Madam Prosecutor, the interference with duties of public servant, Your Honor. Even if my client is failing to give them that, then it is an arrestable offense. But in this situation, it is, Judge. However, in this particular situation, he didn't interfere with anything in terms of his own arrest. I can, if it was a resisting or something to that effect, I can.
They're just trying to get him out of the car.
I don't disagree.
It's classic sovereign case where got the license plate, think that traveling by right is what I think how they term it.
In this situation, Judge, and the reason I'm employing upon the court is, even from what Madam Prosecutor has seen on the video, they're pulling and tugging at his arm, which put my client in some fear. It was more than one officer. It was pretty.
But he still has a duty. If they're asking you to come out, they can lawfully do that. And there are videos, and go on YouTube, right? There are hundreds of videos where officers will literally destroy your car to get you out. When you get into a pissing match with a person who has the power of arrest, who's going to win, Mr. Daly?
We don't disagree, Your Honor.
Right. You know what I mean? That's real life.
We don't disagree, Your Honor. I think under the circumstances of what actually happened, it was not Mr. Daly's position to resist or to interfere. That was not. He was concerned for his safety at that point. And actually, I don't know. Did you hear that on the video? Right. And so in reviewing the video, it was pretty quick, pretty brash. They didn't give him an opportunity to respond per the prosecutor. In this situation, it wasn't as if he was intentionally.
Remember, this is just a mere probable cause.
Yes,
so
I agree.
They ask you to come out of the car one time. Yeah, it's really that's. So, I think that there's enough probable cause to go forward now. The problem is, Mr. Daly, is that we revoke your bond. Your bond is set at 2501, and you've continually failed to appear. So, the case and the way that you've treated us, it shows me that you just refuse to accept authority. How are we supposed to deal with that? How do we deal with that, Timberl?
Your Honor, the only reason I bring to your attention is I asked the court to take into consideration. We have a Black male works every day who, and I hate to put that on the court, but I do in this particular climate, that has never been in contact with any particular law enforcement court system. And from what I can see and what I hear out here from a lot of my Black male, and I'm sure it's common knowledge, is that because they are unfamiliar with the court system, they don't know, number one. Number two, when they do come in contact with police, and my mother is assistant chief of police. So I can understand, even when I was younger, I was taught that there are certain things that you have to do with when a police officer even stop you on a speeding ticket. What we don't know is whenever these officers come up, when you're somebody who don't have the privilege of having a police officer as a parent, or who isn't familiar and is being raised in this particular climate and seeing what they see on TV and seeing what they hear and everything that has occurred, you don't know what the proper steps are. I was trained from when I was grown up what you do. I'm not saying that what he did was right or wrong. I'm not saying that how he reacted to this particular court, it is wrong. However, I'm employing upon the court to ask the court to take into a little bit of consideration, number one, from his perspective.
From his perspective, are you serious right now? Because his attorney is actually pulling the race card, and somehow that's not even the craziest thing she's doing here, since aside from playing the race card, she's literally smothering this sovereign baby like it's her full-time job, which is honestly wild, and I don't know if this is his mom acting as his attorney or what, but this is easily one of the weirdest things I've ever seen, so let me know in the comments if you've ever seen an attorney smother a client like this, because I genuinely haven't. And how are you even going to argue that the police didn't have probable cause when they told him to get out of the car? Because newsflash for this guy, if the cops say get out, you get out, especially when they actually have a reason, and this dude literally had a license plate that said traveler, which is pretty self-explanatory, and yeah, I get it. Sovereign citizens have some very unique views to say the least, but even the judge isn't going to buy this defense, especially since it's Judge Ferrero and he doesn't hand out freebies, and I don't see him giving any special treatment here either, considering this guy skipped court like he's too good for the law, basically pretending the whole thing never happened, and then they just whip out the race card, so there's just no way this dude is winning. Let me know what you guys think about this idiot, but more importantly tell me what you think about his attorney. Because this has to be his mom or something, right? The way she's acting is just weird to me, but let's dive back in.
All defendants, can't just say this, but I do see that, from what I've known from this particular case and now in talking to him, I do believe that there is a sense of sometimes they just don't know. Sometimes they just don't. So I'm asking to reinstate his PR bond. I am now on the case. What you know about me, I'm a tight attorney. I run a tight ship. So, and by which of way I believe I can reach him and getting him to court and resolving this matter, which is what I talked to the prosecutor about when you were on break. It's like, let's just resolve this. Let's take care of this.
I'll buy it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
I'm not going to do this again, though. I promise you. I don't care whoever you have. If you flake on us again, that's 3 times. It's out. I'm not going to do it again. Do you understand, Mr. Daly? I mean, when you come to court, good things happen. When you don't show up and you continually do it, you can't expect good things to happen. Now, do you have a Texas driver's license?
No, right now.
You're not allowed to drive.
Right.
You have a bond condition and you've signed an affidavit with me today promising you're not going to drive. I don't care how you term it. Driving, traveling, however you're going to word it, whatever you do not get into the driver's seat of an automobile, a motorcycle, anything with a combustible engine where you can get on the road unless you have approval from us. Do you understand? I don't care that you have to work. I don't care if you have to go to church. I don't care if you're going to a funeral. I don't care if you're going to wherever it may be. Do not drive. Do you understand? Heed this warning. You're not going to get another one. Okay, Timberlake, I'll reinstate the bond.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I'll talk to her. We were going to try to talk to Chief, but it's pretty busy today.
I think the case is only 3 months old,
yes,
so you've got time. You can do whatever you want.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge.
Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court now, but you must stay in touch with her and she'll tell you when you got to come back to court. If she comes back and tells me she can't get a hold of you because you're playing games or you've gone AWOL or whatnot, or you get arrested for something else, all bets off. We good? I'm not asking for much, man. Really. And for future reference, when you get into a pissing match with someone with the power of arrest, you are nearly always going to lose. It's just the way it works. And as a young Black man in today's society, you got to be extra special careful because things can go really wrong really quick. And there's evidence of that over and over and over.
Wow, this might be a hot take, but I'm actually really disappointed that Judge Flair didn't throw the book at this guy, and I'm not saying we need to go full law and order mode on every sovereign citizen, but come on, this dude literally skipped court, resisted like his life depended on it, and was driving around with a license plate that looked like it was made in Microsoft Paint, and in most cases failing to appear can hit you with additional charges or even a warrant under contempt laws, plus resisting is a whole separate charge that can stack on top of everything else he already had going on, so this would have been a perfect case for a harsher sentence, but instead he pretty much got a slap on the wrist in my opinion, so let me know what you guys think about that, because I still can't get over how that attorney completely smothered him, which has to be one of the weirdest things I've ever seen, and I don't really know this attorney since I've never seen her before, but this whole situation felt extremely strange and honestly pretty unprofessional in my view. And yeah, I know this is Texas, so maybe that's just how things are done down there. I don't know. If anyone from Texas is watching, feel free to chime in. But that was genuinely one of the weirdest courtroom moments I've seen. And while the guy himself didn't talk much, the attorney basically made all his arguments for him, including pulling the race card, which I don't think applies at all, and I'm not racist or anything. But pulling the race card here just feels absolutely wild considering this dude literally had a traveler license plate, so I'm going to wrap it up here because this guy is honestly costing me brain cells at this point. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and definitely let me know in the comments what you thought about this attorney because that's my main point here. It was just bizarre, and as always thank you guys so much for watching.